Carolina people's going to school this morning, and it could be worth a fortune. What's it all about? You'll find out coming up next. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the South Carolina Employment Security Commission's Coastal Workforce Center on Victory Lane in Conway, serving the entire Grand Strand. We're focused on a recently launched personal coaching program for real estate professionals. And we're visiting with the chairman of the board of the Fortune Academy, Harold Swanner. Good morning, Harold.
It's great to be here, Greg.
Thank you so much for coming in. I think last time we were together, we were at the Harold Studios. We're talking a lot of Harold today. The
Yes.
Harold Studios on the former Myrtle Beach Air Force Base, and I think you brought Santi Jimenkonkel with you, which was tremendous. Your friend from Santino's Pizza.
Yes.
Which was wonderful.
Yes, he still had the dinner room last night.
Did you really?
Yes.
Is he doing well?
Extremely well.
His pizza places are everywhere.
I'm trying to get him out of the pizza business into the real estate business.
Is that right?
Yes.
Into the real estate business?
Yeah, he owns about 18, 19 pieces of real estate throughout the county.
Do you think he'd be good in the real estate business?
Excellent.
Really?
Not buying and selling his own businesses.
Right. Buying and selling businesses.
Yeah, or real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Not being an agent.
Just being out there buying and selling. That's exciting, and I'm sure it's probably something he's considering. If you're pushing him on it, I'm sure he's actually taking it.
He's done well.
That is wonderful. Real quick about yourself, Harold. Are you originally from this area?
No, I grew up in Texas, went to high school in Texas, moved to California for 5 years, spent 27 years in Cleveland, Ohio, and been at the beach now 22 years.
Is that right? You were in Cleveland for a little more than a quarter century,
right.
And you've been here almost a quarter century.
Well,
now, I mean, we're dating you now, Harold. That's dangerous. Wow.
I enjoy being old.
Yeah. Golly, that's amazing. Well, you surely don't show your age. You have got so much going on. I think the older you get, much like my father, or a good bottle of wine, the better you get.
I hope so.
Yeah, you can feel that every day.
Oh, yes. Being healthy and mature is great.
And are there, when you think about living on the Strand, some of the changes that have occurred over the last 22 years, does anything really stand out in your mind since you arrived 22 years ago?
Oh, there's so many changes, it's hard to pinpoint. They are basically the biggest thing happened in the 1990 census, becoming an urban area,
right,
which started attracting the national corporations here. And with that attracted the people, and that was the beginning of the major expansion on the Grand Stand.
What brought you down here, Harold?
Sunshine.
Sunshine. I like that.
Had nowhere to go and looked and seen where the best climate was and headed to Myrtle Beach.
And opened a business called Sunshine. Yeah. You just, Sunshine attracted you. That's an exciting business, yeah.
I was doing business brokerage at the time, and I picked that as my career a few years before that because I could do it anywhere in the country I wanted to go.
Business brokerage, helping buy and sell businesses.
Correct.
Great, good. Were you doing that in Cleveland?
I did that approximately 3 years before I moved to Myrtle Beach. And came here and opened Coastal Business Brokers in 1985.
Coastal Business Brokers, 22 years ago.
Yes.
That's fascinating. I think I saw when you were in Cleveland, you'd owned a furniture store.
Yes. First business I bought was a furniture store. Grew it to 7 locations.
No.
And then bad times hit and
went into something else.
Went into business brokerage, then moved down here.
What's that like, being involved in business brokering, Harold? That must be pretty. That could be pretty stressful at times.
It was the best education I've ever had. It's hard to talk to business people day in and day out, and at one time I had about 50% of the businesses' tax returns in my files, and knowing these and not learn something from these people.
Say that again?
It's hard to talk to that many people,
right, and not learn it. Yeah, sure, both good and bad.
They tell you what not to do, but more important, it's interesting to ask what made their business successful, and they all have some kind of good advice to what made them successful. So you combine this as a learning experience.
What are some of those that really stick out in your mind that over the course of that, I think it was a decade that you owned Coastal Business Brokers and dealing with a lot of business owners, obviously lots of different types of business, but are any of those business owners, anything you gleaned particularly from that really stand out in your mind and have helped you going forward?
I think one of the more interesting, I went into a small rundown bar and it was packed.
It was packed.
Packed, and talked to the owner and said, gee, what makes you so successful? He said, I never let a new customer come in here and drink alone. He said, if somebody new walks in, I go over and introduce myself. I take them around the bar and introduce them to everybody in the bar. And before we get to the end of the bar, he met somebody from his hometown, somebody worked where he used to work or something. He had a friend, and he would spend the night there, come back the next night, and keep drinking.
That is brilliant, Harold.
So,
I'm surprised more bar owners don't do that. They're probably, if they're watching right now at 7 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, they're probably either thinking about opening a bar or doing new things in their bar.
So simple little things of this nature sometimes is the most productive thing, more than other spending a lot of complicated money and things.
Right. That is a brilliant idea. I'm shocked that more small bar or large bar owners wouldn't do something like that.
Have you ever been in a bar and sat and drank a beer and
Oh, yeah.
nobody ever speak
By
to you?
myself, sure, and sit there and wonder, who do I know or how will I ever get to know anybody?
Right.
But if the bar owner came over and introduced me to folks, opened the door for just that, that is tremendous. Anything else that you remember that really stands out in your mind?
Well, actually, I prefer in general to look at the larger companies.
Uh-huh.
They have won the refined systems and done things.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at Walmart for our business model for growing.
For growing the Fortune Academy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Walmart started in small little towns that nobody else wanted to be in. So when we started Fortune Academy, most of our locations are small little towns where we don't have no competition.
Right, right.
So I used their business model to grow our small company.
That's brilliant. And it's worked, obviously.
It has worked. We have gone from one instructor to 70-something instructors.
Oh, come on.
From one location to 14 locations. And from market share from about 5% to 50%.
Oh, bull. 50%?
Of South Carolina.
You mean Fortune Academy controls 50% of the real estate school traffic in the state of South Carolina?
Yes.
That's amazing, Harold.
And we used, the Walmart approach.
Right, the Walmart approach. But, of course, you're still in large cities as well, not just small towns. I mean, y'all are in Charleston and Columbia and Greenville.
So is Walmart today.
So is Walmart today. That's exactly right. But you started out in Myrtle Beach.
Beach, and we got the small communities, and then we went to the large communities.
That is exciting, Harold.
I look at McDonald's as my product people to look at. I've yet to find anybody that would tell me that McDonald's has the best hamburger they've ever ate. However, McDonald's sells more hamburgers than anybody else. For one reason, they have a consistent product. People go there, they know what they're getting, they know what to expect.
Right.
So consistency in your product is majorly important in any business.
Consistency in your product is critical. That's a very good point. Those are great. I hope folks are tuning in right now. If a viewer needs to get off to work now or get family off to school, what's the best phone number for someone to call to learn more about the Fortune Academy, or do you all have a website?
The website is fortuneacademy.com. The phone number is 839-1131.
Okay, that's the 843-839-1131. And, of course, you've got real estate academies, real estate schools, and you all teach a lot more. But in our viewership in the PD, probably not in southeastern North Carolina, y'all are confined, at least right now, to the state of South Carolina.
Correct.
Right. So Fortune Academy, these 14 locations, but Florence, Darlington Tech, got a big presence. Of course, you've got a partnership with Horry Georgetown Tech. We're located right next door here to the Coastal Workforce Center. And
you call any of the tech colleges in the area, and they can register you.
Is that right? Any of the technical schools can register?
Right. Yeah.
That is fantastic. Students for classes at Fortune Academy.
We service 13 of the 16 technical colleges in the state.
Is that right, Harold? What a tremendous partnership. Where is that 14th location that's not associated with the technical college?
6 location, Columbia, Spartanburg,
and one other.
Denmark.
In Denmark, okay, okay. That is amazing. That is amazing. Oh, I was thinking about, what is that one? If you have 14 locations, you have one that's not associated with the technical school.
One that's not in the technical college.
Right, right. Well, that's tremendous. Even a standalone there. And Fortune's expanded so fast. Did you actually found the business, Harold, or you purchased it?
I purchased it in 1995, 12 years ago.
Right, 12 years ago. Good.
We had one location and one instructor.
That is amazing. Is that instructor still with you today?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, but surely and it was the Fortune Real Estate School when you purchased it, and y'all changed the name to Fortune Academy because you were teaching so many other components there. What are some of the courses that are taught at the Fortune Academy?
We teach real estate, all phases of it, from beginning to personal development, home inspection, appraisal, insurance, some legal CE. I believe that's all of them.
And of course, we're looking forward to talking more about the personal coaching program, the coaching program that y'all are kicking off, or just kicked off this past September. A lot's going to go into that. But do you have family here in the area, Harold?
I have a son here and two granddaughters.
Two granddaughters here in the Myrtle Beach area.
Right.
That's great. I think you mentioned your daughters there in Asheville. You've got two more grandchildren there and two in Cleveland.
Two in Cleveland.
That's amazing, all spread out. Do you get up to Asheville or to Cleveland much to see them?
I was at Asheville last weekend.
Is that right? How exciting.
I'll be up Cleveland probably in July.
Good. Hopefully, I assume everyone wants to come down to the beach to visit y'all.
End of July, we got 2 condos and everybody's coming for a whole week.
Is that right? Coming down to Myrtle to see y'all?
Yeah.
That is fantastic. Share with viewers what prompted y'all to kick off, or Fortune to kick off, the personal coaching program back in September, and what the plans are and how that's being implemented.
I think we need to backtrack just a moment to get to that, Greg.
Good, sure.
8 years ago, we hired Tom Mazer with tremendous background to help us develop a personal background. Because most of the real estate schools throughout the country are pre-licensing schools primarily, and continuing education, which is state mandated.
Okay.
And it's been very difficult to find a program that the agents would come through that was not state mandated. So we've been working for 8 years to trying to find that program.
And Tom Mazer,
and
who's
find
the
out that yes, you've got basically 3 forms of education. One is mentoring, and typically mentoring haven't worked because the good agents may not be good trainers.
Good agents may not be good trainers. So
Right.
the good agents that are mentoring newbies
may or may not be good trainers.
may or may not, right.
You got the educational where you put people in the classroom and tell them all the possibilities and all the great things they can do and how they can make money and everything else. And as soon as they get out in the real world, about a week later they forgot everything you told them. But it doesn't work in the real world as it does in the classroom.
Yes, good point.
So we found that in real estate that at least 80% of the business is done by 20% of the agents, with a tremendous turnover in agency, which we had to come up with some program that take care of those 80% that was not producing up well enough to stay in the business. So we've been working for 8 years on trying to get the right personal program for those.
Right.
And coaching, we started 2 years ago working on, because coaching is the only program out there that is focused on the agent themselves. We developed a business plan or career plan that fits that agent. To help them sit down, we through all the different things they can do and get a career plan that fits that agent. Once we have the career plan set up, we sit down and quantitate the activities that need to be met, break those annual activities down to weekly activities. We've set up a interactive website where the agent can go now and post his activity weekly. His manager gets to see what he's doing every week, and the coach gets to see what they're doing.